backpack on first. Look how cute. Alright. My glove on. We're just going to take a quick ride. Have a little chit chat session. Let's go for a little ride. Alright, so this is going to be a quick vlog that I'm going to do today. I'm not going too far, so in case it starts raining I'll be able to head home. So I wanted to just ride around town and see if I can get some good views. Alright, quick ride. I'm going to do a vlog today about my views on being a first-time rider. My thoughts, you know, what my experience has been like so far, and how I feel about riding. Now, you know, it's been about a month and a half since I've been riding, and I feel like I have so much to learn still, but I feel like I have enough to talk about for a month, you know, a month riding out. So before I got on a bike for the first time, I've never ridden on a bike other than being a passenger on a bike, which is very common for most girls, I'd say. You usually two up on your buddies, on your boyfriend, whatever it may be, and that's usually the gist of it. At least in this area where I live, you don't see many females out there riding. So definitely before I started riding, I was only ever a passenger, which was so much fun. I rode on sports bikes, on super sports bikes, cruisers, anything you name it, I rode on it. I loved it all. I loved being on the road as a passenger. I loved the people I rode with. They were all respectful of me, and that's another thing. If you're going to be riding with people, be respectful. You know, be safe out there. It's a lot more difficult to ride when you have someone on your back. I can only imagine, and I've never ridden anybody on my back. It's not something I feel like really wanting to do anytime soon, especially not on this bike, being that it's so light. So be respectful of people on the back of your bike. You know, they don't know how to ride, so they may not necessarily know the right way to do things. And you want to keep everybody safe. Now, other than that, that's all I've had experience with, and I enjoyed it, and I always wanted to ride it on. I wanted to have control, and that was my goal for very long. For about, I want to say about 4 to 5 years, I wanted to ride my own bike. So finally I had an opportunity. I saw a great listing on Craigslist. The bikes seemed pristine, and I was like, there's no way. This is like, you know, super affordable, low mileage, you know, close by, driving distance, you know. So I was like, you know, me and my boyfriend decided to just go check it out, and that's what we did. We drove up. It took us about like 25 minutes to go where we needed to go. And the guy was super nice, the guy who was selling us the bikes, and he was using this bike as a commuter bike when he lived in I think it was Florida, and he wasn't that far from campus, so he didn't put a lot of miles on it, and he didn't really use it like some people might use bikes. So there was no dings on it, no scratches, no nothing, and the price was fair. You know, this is a Kawasaki 250, so in regards to speed, you know, it's not crazy fast, but it teaches you the gist of riding, and it teaches you what you need to know in regards to riding. So for the price, I got it for $2,500, 6,000 miles, and I'm only doing, you know, putting that out there because I want you guys to know, you know, what I bought it for, what it's online for in your area. I'm upstate, so I'm in in Connecticut. So this is what I got it for, and I'm happy I did, because I can either keep it and, you know, let my friends learn to ride on it after I get a new bike, or, you know, sell it, and probably I can sell it for $2,000 once I start, you know, once I start looking for this coming season a new bike. So that's my plan, and my plan is to look for a new bike during the fall winter season, so that when the new season comes, I'll be on my new bike. And who knows what will happen with this bike, I'm not sure yet. Anyways, so you know, put that money down towards learning, getting a bike to learn, and my boyfriend taught me, and he did such a great job, you guys. I wish you could see how he was with me when we were learning. It was so cute. He was literally like running beside me like a father would their child when I was learning. And it was like, first I was just learning how to mess with the what's that term they use, your friction zone. He taught me how to test the friction zone, and then learn foot placements on, you know, my pegs, and, you know, throttle control, like the basics. And I feel like when you're learning something like this, you gotta go with the basics. Learn, take your time. It took us, you know, I mean, even though he thinks I picked it up rather quickly, it was just my commitment to getting on the bike as much as I could. I'm talking about every day, every other day, if my schedule allowed me, getting on the bike for half an hour, an hour, practicing what I've learned, learning something new each time, just trying to like better myself, make myself more knowledgeable, experience what it is to feel like being on a bike. You don't want to pick something up like this and then put like 1 hour here, 1 hour there, and not really like commit yourself, because this is too dangerous to not really commit yourself all the way. So you know, we put in the time, and he didn't have to do that. He could have just, you know, had me go through a course, which I plan on still going to, because you have to in order to get your license in the state. But at least I'm a little bit more knowledgeable now, you know. And you know, we can ride in Connecticut with your permit. Instead of, you know, before you get your license, you can get a permit, and that is good for, I believe it's 3 months or 6 months, I forget. So, you know, it's just a good way to get on the bike and, you know, get yourself comfortable and knowledgeable, so that when you go through this testing, spend all this money, go through these courses, you'll have a better chance at. One hang up on riding so far is the fact that everything you need to ride is super expensive. And, you know, I'm a mother of 2, so, you know, even though I'm blessed with a job that's nice, every dollar counts. You can't just be going around spending $400 on a helmet or on glasses just for shits and giggles, you know. But you have, you know, but in this situation, it's like you're kind of forced to, because you want to be safe. So it's just unfortunate that everything is so expensive. So that's my one biggest hang up, I think, the cost of having this as a hobby. Not a lot of people tell you 2 things. Like, once you start riding, you're gonna be obsessed and you're gonna want to be riding all the time, which I say is definitely true. But I have another, you know, I'll go back to that another time, or at some point in this conversation. But the other one is how expensive it can be. You know, you do end up spending a lot of money, because you have to get the helmets, you have to get the gloves, you have to get a jacket, you know, you have to get everything. Shoes, like, and that's if you want to be a safe rider. Not if you don't want to be a safe rider, then you don't have to spend any of that on, you know, you can just get a helmet and call it a day. And certain states have certain rules. Some states don't even obligate you to wear a helmet. In my state, you don't have to wear a helmet, but you're gonna have to, you know, conceal your eyes. So, woo, it's windy out here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I'm gonna stick a, whoa, it's super windy. So, you know, in Connecticut, you don't have to wear a helmet, but you're gonna end up having to, look at the planes, wear glasses. Which I'm good with helmet, I have jacket, I have my gloves, I have my boots. The next thing I want to get is pants, but geez, it's like $200. Like, who spends $200? I don't spend $200 on clothes that I wear every day. So, I kind of picked it up rather quickly. Wanted to get on the road, wanted to try it out. Didn't want to stay stagnant without, you know, If I had the opportunity to ride, I was riding. And they may not be far. Where I learned was not the easiest of places to learn. But I think that was a benefit to me because it taught me certain obstacles before getting on the road. Now, here's the big question that I had, and that I'm sure a lot of people have, is it safer to start on a 250? Does it make more sense to just go straight to a 600? Because right now, being on this bike, having ridden it 2 long distances, and I'm not too far, but probably an hour and a half away and back, you crave the power, you crave needing more, for sure, hands down. It's the reason why I'm gonna get a bigger bike for this coming season. I want the opportunity or the ability to go fast. Not necessarily that I'm going to go fast, but the ability to go fast. I want to be able to get myself out of situations that not necessarily this bike can get me out of. You know, there's been now 2 times where I have been on the highway without want, but out of pure necessity because of routes that I was taking on. One was going to dinner with my boyfriend. We rode our bikes and we ended up taking the GPS and it took us on the highway. We had nowhere else to go. We had to go on the highway. And my bike was just like, it doesn't have the power that a bike should have on the highway, which is what I need. I need to have a bike that can go 60 without screaming at me. I want a bigger bike, you know, a faster bike. And I'm talking about 600, maybe 700, 750 if for whatever reason, you know, I find something that I like that's not a 600. I'm pretty sure no matter how big of a bike you have, if it gets windy, you're gonna feel some type of way. You're gonna feel it, and that's fine too. But I kind of want to be able to have a bigger bike, more control, more speed. So my view on it is this. I feel like, ooh, look how pretty this is. Hold on. Let's take a quick appreciation of this view right now. It is gorgeous out there. People are parasailing out there. It's so nice. Woo, so pretty. So yeah, I basically just want the ability to go faster, and I think that if I had to do it again with the knowledge I have now, of course I would go for the 600, right? Because, you know, I know how to ride a bike, but I didn't before. And when I got on this 250 for the first time and I was going 2 miles an hour, I was shitting my pants, you know? And same when I went 10 miles an hour. I remember there was a time where Dan was like, dude, you have to go faster. It's dangerous if you go too slow. And I totally understand that now. But now that I have knowledge, yes, of course I would go for a 600 first bike. But that's not necessarily what you should do. I think that if you are even the slightest bit concerned or more cautious person like I am, go with the 250. Be safe. Go with the 250. Go with the 300. If you're feeling, you know, frisky, then go with the 400. But it's not necessary. When you're on the main road like this, burning, when you're not going on the highway, you do not need to go fast. Of course, anybody with knowledge is going to want something faster, but it's not necessary. I'm glad I got the 250, and it'll be a good starter bike for somebody else in the future, just like it was for me. So, anyways, all right. Now, what I've learned or what my feelings are on being a new time rider, it is completely addicting. It's so much different than being in a car. It's so much different than being in a fast car. I've ridden very fast cars. That's fun. I love riding fast in cars. I don't ride for the speed. I think I'm riding for the excitement, you know, for the ability to have the knowledge of being able to ride. Just checking a box off my list of what I wanted to learn in my life. The thing is, if you become in a situation where you don't have a lot of people to ride with, then it could get boring after you hit that obsessive stage. So I've only been riding for a month and a half, and I gotta tell you right now, during the summertime, when it's really fucking hot outside, if I don't necessarily have a place to take my bike, if I don't have a destination to go to that's not you know, scheduled, if I just want to go for a ride, it does get a little bit like, oh, you know, I'm not really in the mood to do this right now. I don't really want to do this right now. It's too hot. The tank burns your thighs. You know, especially I'm a person that wears, you know, protective gear, so I'm burning up, and I have a Icon mesh jacket that's supposed to let everything in. So unless I have somewhere to go, or if I'm really craving a ride, or if I have somebody to ride with, I'm not necessarily wanting to ride. You know, I'm not going out of my way to ride now. I'm still addicted in the sense where I'm on YouTube all the time looking up, you know, new bikes, or, you know, new gear, new this, looking motovlogs, all that. Still addicting, but I'm not itching to be on the road as obsessively as I was before, if that makes any sense. I want to be on the road with my, you know, with somebody, and it's hard for me to be on the road with people because I don't know many people who ride in my area other than my boyfriend, and we can't necessarily ride together because we have the baby. So it puts us in a little tough situation because we can't go out together unless we have a babysitter. So when we do get to go out, it's so much fun, you know, like I don't care what the temperature's like, I'm like, yes, let's go. But if I don't have anywhere to go, and I'm not like, you know, it hasn't been a day and I'm like sitting there like fiending to ride, then, you know, poor thing sits in the shed for a day or two until I get that itch again, which it does come quickly. So much more respect for people on the road, for riders on the road, for the understanding of drivers on the road. You also have a greater annoyance to drivers on the road, to even other riders on the road. In regards to riders, I mean drivers, you have more respect for the ones who are more polite on the road. You know, you're not sitting there like getting mad if they're going too slow, or if they're not, because they're probably giving space for a rider to be around. But then you have these drivers who just typically hate bike riders. They don't like us. They think we are reckless people, that we're crazy, and I feel like it's sad because they do have reasons to think that. Because, for instance, I was on the highway today, and you had, you know, this guy going 120, and it was the middle of traffic. He's just splitting lanes. Not a care for the world of the riders on the highway, the drivers on the highway. He just wanted to get where he was going, and he didn't care about safety. He was wearing like zero gear, so that was frustrating to me, especially as a rider. Like, dude, you're making us look bad. You're not careful with your own life, with the people that are, you know, the lives that are on the road around you. You know, so I can understand all that stigma, where that comes from. You learn more about the city you live in, so you're forced to take, you know, different routes and go different places that you normally wouldn't go on your car, because there's always quicker places. But now you want to take that long route. You want to be on the road a little longer. You want to enjoy the sights, which you don't get to do, or even want to do when you're driving a car. So I do notice that I've learned, you know, some other new routes. I've kind of like understand my neighborhood a little better, which has been cool. I like that a lot. It's an experience to be on the road and to see your city, your town, the way we get to see it on two wheels. It's beautiful. And I ended up dropping my bike for the first time on one of my longer rides. I ended up coming up to a three-way intersection, and it was a high traffic time of day, and even though it was back roads, I was focused on my left hand side. I was looking to the left, even though I was at a stop sign ready to go right. And when you're on a bike, you need to be, your shoulders and your head need to be facing where you want to go at all times. Like, if you're going to be letting on the throttle at all, you need to be ready to go wherever your body is looking. And that's what happened. So I ended up looking left. My shoulder was kind of veering left. And when I thought it was like I was in the car. I was kind of thinking I was in the car with the way I was behaving. And I was looking to the left. I was focused on the left, and I let on the throttle to go forward. And my bike, my foot I kind of pushed off with my feet because I was on an incline, and I had to keep my hand on the brake so my bike wouldn't fall backwards. So I had my hand on the brake. I had my thumb on the throttle a little bit. And I was looking left, my body was facing left, and I had to let on the throttle a little bit, and it was just a hot mess. And I ended up sliding when I was pushing off a little bit. I ended up sliding on a freaking McDonald's apple pie box. Yeah, it was laying there. I had no idea. It was right underneath my foot, so when I pushed off, I let off the throttle. I let on the throttle, and my bike went forward. I went down, and thankfully I'm not, I don't grab a lot when I'm on the throttle. I kind of grab a little bit, so my bike didn't flip or anything. It kind of just went a little forward and then dropped down right on my feet. So you can fit a lot in a short amount of time, and I certainly did that with my riding experience. I put myself out there, and I feel like that's my biggest suggestion. Get on the bike. Face your fear. If you're nervous, it's okay. You don't have to go as fast as the person next to you. You don't have to do what they're doing. You get on a bike, you do it safe as you can. You accomplish your goal, and at some point you're going to feel comfortable or confident enough to do whatever speed you feel like you should be doing. And then you can go from there, and you can learn more. I feel like it's a hobby that you're constantly learning. You're going to be learning forever when you're on a bike, because it's constantly something that you're going to be, basically it's a risk. You just like driving, I drive my car, and I test the water sometimes, and I'll speed up and I'll have fun in my car. And but you're learning, when something happens, you're like, oh shit, let me calm down. And that's what I think a bike will be like. It's fun, it's exhilarating, it's freeing, it's everything that you think it's going to be, and then some. And just do it. But that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed my video, my little conversation. If you guys have any other suggestions on what I should be recording, what you want to see me do, I'm hoping to be able to record maintenance on this bike. I'm not doing any modifications more than it already has, because let me actually turn it off and show you what I got on here. So when I purchased this bike, he had done a couple modifications to it already. He had put on these stickers. I'm pretty sure he put these on, because this is not stock. Obviously the Two Brothers Racing stickers. This is what happened when I fell. So this is my personal mod. I put this rim mount on, which I really love. I also changed the windshield to this really nice, I got this off eBay for like 25 bucks, and Dan installed it for me, and I really, really like it. He also changed the stock exhaust to this Two Brothers exhaust, which I really like. I didn't have to do any of that. He also took off the stock tail end on this bike, the lights off, and glued them onto, I think they hang out, and he glued it on there. So she's got to get clean. Look how dirty she is. I don't know how that happened. I don't know I guess I must have been riding in the rain. But yeah, that's my bike. She's a little dirty, but she does a job. Oh, and she has, I don't think you're gonna be able to see it, the bike's off, but she's got green lights that go on the bottom. I will let it go, and I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.